I've just found if you can be great at the things that don't take talent, everything else will take care of itself. I always tell the guys it's good to be a great athlete, but it's better to be a good person. I found I had an avenue and a vehicle to impact young people, to help them chase the same dreams that I chased. That I emphasize that sports is what we do, but it's not who we are.
Hello and welcome to Around the Way with EJ. I'm your host, Eric Johnson. You know, it's one thing to play a sport, another thing to excel at the sport, and then even another avenue to develop the want to, the drive, determination to teach it to the next level. And our guest this week has certainly done so. He was a 4-year starter for Ferrum College football in the mid-90s, where he served as a captain in 1998. He had a 5-year pro football career in the Arena Football League. In fact, if you remember the Roanoke team here in the Star City, he led that team in interceptions and interception return yards in 2001, the same year in which he served as a captain with them. And then, of course, he was inducted into the Ferrum Hall of Fame in 2017. And for the past 15 years, he's been the president and owner of Daniels Sport Performance in Midlothian. I want to welcome to the platform Mr. Nate Daniels. Mr. Daniels, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Man, that was a mouthful, man. You do a little bit of everything, right?
I try.
That was awesome. I want to start just with Ferrum. I mean, obviously, we talked here recently about the black hat tradition and what that means. Can you tell us just what is it about that tradition and the pride that goes along with suiting up and being a black hat and being a Panther?
Yeah, it's one of those things to be a part of that fraternity. It's one of those things, unless you're in it, it's tough to explain. And the first word that comes to my mind is just brotherhood. It's such a rich tradition of winning, a rich tradition of playing hard and playing the right way and playing for each other. And as soon as you step on campus, the upperclassmen and the coaching staff, they pass along those traditions and they pass it along to the underclassmen, and we rise to be juniors and seniors and pass it along to the future classes. And one thing that we always do at Ferrum is, honor the past and play for those who came before us. We play hard when we're there, and then we set the standard for those who come after. And so that was one of the things that actually drew me to Ferrum was the tradition of the winning and, again, playing the game the right way.
Yeah, I was going to ask what even drew you there, because you're from Fairfax, is that right?
Yes, I went to high school up in Fairfax, Virginia, at Fairfax High School.
Nice. And it always astonishes me the number of people that know Ferrum, whether it was from its junior college days to its D3 status now. And it's kind of funny. It is one of those brotherhoods, one of those fraternities where people are like, hey, I know Ferrum. You know Ferrum? Yeah. How do you know Ferrum? So it's one of those long-standing things, and it was great to see that you were able to excel there and even be a team captain there in 1998. Can you shed light on just how was it playing in the mid-90s there? I mean, was it obviously things are different than it is now, perhaps, but the style of football obviously is to win and have that winning mentality, right?
Playing at Ferrum was amazing. Again, the brotherhood and the family and some of the memories that I made at Ferrum, have lasted a lifetime. The friendships have lasted a lifetime. And it was great playing in the mid-90s. Obviously, it was a different brand of football. The game has changed a lot and evolved as the years have gone on. But the tradition has stayed. I played for Coach Davis, which was an amazing coach. He's the head coach and also my position coach. So I couldn't get away with anything. So he coached the defensive backs, and he was a great mentor for me. And Coach David Harper, which is another former Ferrum head coach, and he was a defense coordinator when I was there, were tremendous influences on me. The first 3 years I was there, it was a little bit different. We were independent. We weren't actually in a conference. We didn't move into a conference until my senior year. So we got to play a little bit of everywhere. Went down and actually beat Charleston Southern, which was in a Division I AA school at the time.
Yeah.
And got to travel as far as New Jersey, all over the place. Now they're in the ODAC, so the travel is a little bit more refined and good for them. It's awesome for them to find a home. But yeah, things were a little bit different in the mid-90s.
And then, as we mentioned, you went on to have the AAFL career. Tell me a little bit about the Steam. I mean, I remember when it was here, I was just a little bit younger, but I I remember there was still a lot of interest. There was still a lot of questions about it. There was a lot of intrigue. However, I remember I had an uncle who said he had season tickets, and I was like, wow, he had season tickets. So how was that experience, just arena football in general?
Yeah, it was great. So when I came out of Ferrum, as my career progressed at Ferrum, I knew that I'd have some professional opportunities. Obviously, coming from a small school, it's rare, but I had, ideal size and speed for my position. I was 6 foot, 200 pounds at corner, and that was kind of like the advent of the bigger corner right around 2000 when we started trying to get bigger corners. Before that, guys were really 5'7", 5'9". So I was a good size, and when I came out, I had a free agent workout, individual workout with the Baltimore Ravens. That's when Ozzie Newsome was the player personnel guy. And then I was invited to a little rookie mini camp. And from there on out, I went to the Arena Football Leagues. It was a new game for me. My first experience was a 21-year-old rookie for the Iowa Barnstormers. That's who Kurt Warner had played for. He's a little bit older than I am. But so that was my first introduction in Iowa. In the year after Iowa, I went to signed with a team in Norfolk called the Nighthawks. Played in the Scope, I'm sure you're familiar with. And then Coach Jerry was the offensive coordinator. Stephen Jerry was offensive coordinator in Norfolk. And he got the head coaching job in Roanoke. And so that's what led me back to Roanoke. And it was amazing symmetry that lined up. My brother was playing at Virginia Tech as a free safety, Mike Daniels. He's a rover free safety combo guy. And obviously me being going to school at Ferrum, Roanoke is home. The Star City was home for me as a young guy. So coming back there and playing for Coach Jerry and playing in the city, it was amazing. It was good support by some of my former teammates and classmates, and it was a really cool experience there playing there in the Civic Center. It's renamed now, I believe.
Right, Berglund Center. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. But it was cool. The game is fast paced, it's hard hitting, high scoring. Fans are right on top of you, kind of like a basketball atmosphere, which is cool because I was a basketball player, so as well. So it was a great experience, and the best thing about it as a defensive back, I was a two-way player in that league. Not everybody is. I was a two-way player, so if you got beat on defense, you got to line up at receiver and get them back. So I love that.
Man, that's classic.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. So good times.
That is awesome. That is awesome, man. At what point did you realize that you wanted to not only teach the game and help other athletes train for their specific sports, but you wanted to delve deeper into it and have a whole sports performance type business as you have opened up here?
So I knew that at a very young age. I was trained in my off seasons of my college years at a place called Pro Speed up in Northern Virginia. A man named Rob Brown, was a great guy. He played for the Packers for 13 years. Had a facility up there pretty similar to mine, and I became inspired very early. I said, wow, when I get done playing, this would be amazing. So I got my certifications as a personal trainer and speed, agility, and quickness coach very early. Parents would always ask me in my off seasons, could I work with their kids, in Fairfax, because, they knew of me there and supported me. I got great support from my hometown. And so I started training guys early. And then I trained and got as much experience as possible. I did internships at multiple sports performance centers. I trained in every gym that you could possibly think of, all the Gold's Gym, AmFams, anything you could think of. I've been there and got a lot of experience, started running some camps and began to make it create a business. I found I had an avenue and a vehicle to impact young people, to help them chase the same dreams that I chased. And I had amazing mentors and coaches that provided opportunities for me. And for me to do that for the next generation of guys and young ladies was just an amazing opportunity. And I knew very early that was my calling.
I'm always fascinated by that, folks that find that self-determination very early in life, and yet they go on to play sports and do sports, but yet they never lose sight of that original purpose, that original goal, that original dream. So it's more or less like, sports became the vehicle for them. It wasn't the end-all, be-all for them. How important is that, and how much do you touch on that perhaps with your athletes now in terms of being able to stay determined and stay on track and to say, hey, let's never give up. Let's keep working. Let's keep trying.
Right. Well, that's one of the big things that I emphasize in the facility. I always tell the guys it's good to be a great athlete, but it's better to be a good person. You know, a good student, a good son, a good brother, and impact your community whenever you have an opportunity. We emphasize, academics and being great at the things that don't take any talent. Working hard, being relentless. Being focused, all the intangibles that I learned throughout my journey of playing sports and just throughout life that I was taught by my parents and coaches and mentors along the way. Because I've just found if you can be great at the things that don't take talent, everything else will take care of itself. And what is meant for you is meant for you, and it will happen for you as long as you take care of all the things off the field and all the intangibles, that we talked about.
When you really think about you and yourself and helping other athletes, you're not just confined to just football, right? So you're training athletes across the board. I imagine basketball, track and field, whatever it may be.
Absolutely. So Daniel Sports Performance, we train athletes of all sports. We do strength and conditioning, speed, agility, and quickness. We have football players, basketball players, baseball, any sport that you can name, golf, rugby, any sport that you can probably think of. We help them to get faster and stronger. We run classes. We do team trainings where whole teams will come in and train together. And we also do one-on-one training. I was a multi-sport athlete growing up as well. So I love all sports and played every sport you can think of. Still to this day, people don't know, but soccer is my favorite sport and it was my best sport.
Wow.
I found a home, we moved from Europe and I found a home with American football. A lot of the skill set that I displayed out on the pitch transferred very easily, to the football field as far as, covering guys and running routes and the foot speed and quickness and coordination. So yeah. So it's super important to me to make sure that we offer services that can help athletes in any sport, even have swimmers that come in.
And is there any importance or any benefit of being there in the Midlothian area? I imagine that's almost like a centralized location, if I'm thinking right, in terms of where you're from, Fairfax, a little bit perhaps further north, but being in that spot, I mean, you can service a lot of different athletes across an entire, really a big region right there in Central Virginia there.
Right, absolutely. I love being here in Richmond. My last year playing professionally, I played for a team in Richmond here. We played in the Richmond Coliseum. And after I was done playing, I signed to play 2 seasons here, and we were fortunate to win a league championship. But I made it home. I loved it down here. Northern Virginia, if you spent any time up there, I love my home, but it's hectic up there. And I love the slower pace down here. I love being centralized where you're 2 hours from the beach, you're an hour from the mountains. And I made it a home here, and it's a hotbed for sports. Richmond loves their sports, soccer, football, basketball, the whole deal. The parents and the community have embraced me, and it's the second home to me now. We're able to, help athletes from really all over Virginia. We've had people drive from Roanoke, Lynchburg, even from the beach area, for different camps and clinics that we've had. So we've been very, very fortunate and blessed so far.
Really asking Coach Adams last week about the role of a coach and really how that's kind of changed over the years, considering everything we have going on and really everything in the lives of young people now. The role of a personal trainer or a sports performance operator like yourself and owner, has that changed over the years, considering the landscape of, I don't know, I feel like a lot of former athletes are really kind of tapping into that per se more over the last 3 to 5 years. But like yourself, you've been in this field for quite a while now. Have you seen the kind of an increase in influx of athletes turning to this avenue saying, hey, it's time to give back in this way?
When I got into the game, and I say the game, I mean the training game, fitness industry,
Sure.
It was kind of like the beginning, and I don't want to say beginning, but it became popular to have contracted strength and conditioning coaches. At the high school level was pretty much like a football coach or a gym coach, kind of training the guys in the weight room there. Colleges had strength and conditioning coaches, but there weren't a whole lot of private businesses like myself. So I've seen everything kind of evolve. It is pretty much, I don't want to say mandatory, but with the professionalism of youth sports, these guys are training like professionals now. You know, they're training with their team or club 4 days a week. They've got a strength coach like myself. They've got a skill development coach that they go to for their skill coaches. And we're a part of that team. And the parents lean on us and depend on us to help develop their kids. And when I bring any kid into, under our umbrella of our stable of athletes, I let them know that, I'm going to treat their kids just like they were family. And we say it all the time, DSP family. Everything that we do in here is for the best interest of the kid and the young man or young lady. And we want to develop them both on and off the field, not just to get them stronger and faster, but to also teach them what it's going to take to be elite and to achieve at the highest level. Because every athlete that walks in our door, they're here to get better, and we want to help them do that.
Indeed. And then too, with young ones these days and really at any era, anytime they wanted to be a professional athlete at any point in life, they always put that as the goal, right? How important is it, like you were touching on earlier, to have perhaps a plan B or to even have a whole different goal as the number one in the first place, and then kind of use this as a vehicle? Do you kind of touch on that with guys to say, hey, you know what? Never give up, but perhaps it's always good to have another plan in place just in case this might not work out per se?
Yeah. So what I tell them is that I emphasize that sports is what we do, but it's not who we are. And you need to make sure that you understand you have priorities in life. And I always teach them, and again, this is just my personal opinion, people, but I believe your faith should be first, whatever you believe in, your family, and school, and then sports should be under that. And as long as you have priorities and balance in your life, everything else will fall in place. And I don't really refer to A and B plan. I just refer to the plan. And if you use the definition of B plan, that's fine too, long as you just have a plan, meaning I want to be the best athlete I want to be, and I'm going to be the best student I'm going to be. I'm going to have a dream on the field and off the field, and we're going to do them simultaneously. And what's meant for me will be for me, and period. And no man or woman can stop that if I put in the work and do what needs to be done. And everything will work out the way that it's meant to be. And that's just how I feel about it. And I communicate that to our athletes, to be balanced, to understand there's more to life than dribbling a ball and catching a ball. And I feel that it kind of stabilizes their emotions. But if you allow your emotions with this game, and trust me, I've been through them all, to your emotions and your paradigm as far as the way you view yourself with this game, it's going to be tough for you. You've got to have a firm value system, priorities in place, and just attack your dreams as hard as you can, and be confident that you're willing to live with the results of whatever happens.
Man, you can't go wrong with that. I like that. You have a plan. It doesn't have to be the plan, but hey, have a plan, man. That is a great mindset, and we definitely appreciate you instilling that into the young folks that are coming through these days. I gotta get a little personal now. So from Fairfax, let me know. Were you a Washington football team fan, or did you go to Baltimore a little further up? Where were we back then?
Wow. So my dad is a Washington football team fan. So growing up, so we grew up, obviously watching, I remember my earliest recollection of football and what made me start playing football when we moved over here, the Chicago Bears with Walter Payton and the Refrigerator Perry, that old school. I still feel like they're the best team ever. That team that inspired me watching Sweetness. He's the reason I started playing. So I was, as a little boy, my dad bought me a 34 jersey, and I had the little Chicago Bear helmet. So that's who I kind of rooted for as a boy. As I got older, I saw my dad liked the Washington football team. So I just kind of watched them. I remember Doug Williams in the Super Bowl. That was one of my earliest recollections. I think that was like 87. I was like 10 or something like that. One of my earliest recollections. So I cheer for them to win, but I can't say that I'm a fan, meaning like I'm whatever they do on Sunday kind of define me. My dad's a fan. I just a fan of the league, if that makes sense. I love watching the players. I know what it takes at that level to be successful. And I just enjoy and I root for all of them to do well.
Yeah, indeed. I was going to say, you did a little bit of everything at Ferrum, offense, defense, little special teams too. Do you have a favorite, guy that you kind of watch? I know you mentioned Walter Payton there, But was there another guy, perhaps, as you got older, you were like, man, that's a really good guy in the league. That could have been me. That's me. I can take him.
Right, right. Well, I had some guys that inspired me. Obviously, if you came up when I came up and you were a DB, if you didn't say prime time inspired you in some way, he changed everything for the position.
Yeah.
He gave me my flair and my showmanship. But I took a little bit from a lot of guys. But if I had to say at the defensive back position or on the football field, as far as who inspired me the most, would be him. My game was very similar to Charles Woodson. I had good size at the corner. I was versatile, could play receiver, return kicks, and was a hard-nosed defender, excelled in man-to-man, and loved that challenge. So, if I had to describe to people who I played most like, it would probably be like Charles Woodson.
Man, we definitely appreciate your time, and what you're doing is great. It has been great, and to be going for nearly 2 decades now. I mean, that says a lot about your determination and your drive to continue to help the young folks in and around your area, and really the entire state, as you mentioned. So we greatly appreciate the efforts you're putting forth. We love your black hat pride that you were showing for your Panthers there, man. And hopefully they'll have a great season too, and then catch up with you and perhaps see where they can tweak a few things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting down there this fall. I'll be down there to support Coach Adams, and he's doing a great job. And I can't wait to see my guys get out on the field and attack the ODAC.
Indeed. Mr. Daniels, we appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.